This is Neil Ratner Rock Talk here on WDST Radio Woodstock with another episode of This Week in Rock with support from Transcendental and my friend, the amazing dentist and rock star Bruce Milner. Visit Transcendental, his stunning new office at 2 Maverick Road on the corner of Maverick Road and Route 375. Bob Dylan began recording his 5th studio album, Bringing It All Back Home, on January 13, 1965. Many of the songs for the album were written in the summer of 1964 at his manager, Albert Grossman's house here in Woodstock. Joan Baez, Dylan's girlfriend at the time, visited Bob and recalled that most of the month or so we were there, Bob stood at the typewriter in the corner of the room, drinking red wine and smoking and tapping away relentlessly for hours. At the end of the summer, Dylan met the Beatles for the first time, which helped push Bob in a more rock and roll direction. And soon, Dylan and producer Tom Wilson were experimenting with their own fusion of rock and folk. Mary Martin was Albert Grossman's secretary. She would frequently come to Woodstock and became good friends with Dylan. Martin was from Toronto, and it was Mary who first suggested to Dylan that he should go to Toronto to see a band she knew well, the Hawks. On the cover of the album, Bringing It All Back Home, Dylan is sitting on a couch holding the Grossman's cat, Lord Growing, who, as Mary describes, unexpectedly ended up being hers.
While you were working with Grossman, you even made trips to his home in Woodstock.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Want to hear about that?
I want to hear about that.
Okay. So in my elevated position as secretary, off I went every so often to Albert and Sally Grossman's house. And sometimes Albert would hire a plane, and that was always dicey because it would always be on one of those summer days when there were thunderstorms. I'm not talking thunder, I'm talking about lightning, 100 feet away from this little private plane. But after a few of these, I got there, as did Albert. And Dylan and I used to have swimming races. He always won, and that really did piss me off, if the truth be told, because I had the flippers. So he was scrawny, and what do I know? I mean, scrawny people from Minnesota, I guess, are good athletes.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was dear, and that was at a time when, just like a Rolling Stone came out, and that would be played at Albert's place over the grounds on really huge loudspeakers. It was just righteous. So I lost the races, but I won the Lord, who was the pussycat that was on the cover of Bringing It All Back Home. So he was a cover cat, and that cat went with me everywhere. And he died on an Easter Sunday, and that seemed to be appropriate. My mother had him in Toronto.
Subterranean Homesick Blues was the lead track on the album, and according to Bob, it's from Chuck Berry, a bit of Too Much Monkey Business, and some of the scat songs of the 40s. Okay, let's listen. Bob Dylan and Subterranean Homesick Blues.